what we are looking for on our investment criteria is the team. We prefer to invest on a good team with a small project than in a big project for the market with the wrong team. Why? Because, as I mentioned, we are an investor but a partner. And so we take a seat on the board and we want to be sure that the relationship with the founder is really good.
This podcast is sponsored by Allfeed, a decentralized blockchain solution for the music industry. Produced by Amplitude Ventures, your partners in early stage music tech. Ahead of Wallifornia 2025, we decided to feature our first partnership episode with Xavier Péters, CEO of the Belgian VC LeanSquare, as he unpacks how the program is powering a global music tech ecosystem and the mindset founders need to secure funding. If you're curious about where music and investment meet, this episode's worth your time. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Sound Connections podcast. Today we have a partnership episode with Wallifornia, and we have none other than Xavier from LeanSquare on the podcast. Welcome, Xavier.
Welcome. Thank you. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you. I've been looking forward to this. And Wallifornia is an amazing conference with focus on music technology. And LeanSquare and yourself have been very involved in making that happen over the last 9 years. I guess this will be the 10th year of Wallifornia. But Xavier, before we get into that, we're talking about investment in music tech and Wallifornia and LeanSquare. For the people who don't know who you are, who are you and what do you do?
So I'm Xavier. I'm the CEO of LeanSquare since now 2 years after I was the investment manager for LeanSquare. So LeanSquare is the investment firm based in Liège, part of the Noshak Group. We are an entertainment tech fund, and we have 11 years now. And so I was there in the beginning of the creation of the funds. It's an evergreen fund, so we don't have any closing date. And I took the role of CEO since 2 years to manage the team and to manage the investment and the portfolio of LeanSquare. I'm a father of 2 kids. I'm a musician. I'm a sportive, and yeah, that's me.
Amazing. And we have talked with a lot of investors on this podcast, and there's always confusion or conflicting statements about what does it mean to invest in music tech and what is the actual potential, because it is like a quite underfunded space. There's not a lot of VCs there. There's not a lot of angels there. So it's to a big degree, a very unknown space, at least from an academia level, which I tend to really like, but also from like just accessible information. So I hope we can sort of dissect you guys' mindset throughout the episode. Before we get into sort of how you got into LeanSquare, and before we get into LeanSquare itself, it's really important just to talk about Wallifornia, because we're partnering with this episode, but there's also a reason why this is extra interesting beyond the partnership, and that is Wallifornia is focusing on music technology. Can you walk me through what is Wallifornia and why is it important? What's actually going to happen in the start of July this year?
Okay, so this year it will be the 9 edition. Next year would be the 10 anniversary. So 9 years ago, we were in South by Southwest, 2 years after the creation of the fund. And we see a lot of and so for to be also a detail, an important detail, the CEO of Noshak, so the mother company, is also the co-founder of one of the biggest music festival here in Belgium, Les Ardentes. And so we at that time and still now we had this feeling for the music, love for the music. We are all musicians, etc. And so we decided to go to South by Southwest to see what is going on there. And when we came back here in Belgium, we decided to do the same in a small size for sure, but to do the same. It means to organize an event with startup, with corporate, with partner, with VCs from all around the world in Belgium during 2 or 3 days. It was the way to begin this music tech strategy. LeanSquare decided at that time to invest on the music tech, but as an investor, we don't want to be only an investor. So as a banker, we want to be a creator of ecosystem. We strongly believe in the ecosystem. We think that the startup look at searching for money but also for partnership. And so the best VC on the market, because I mean there is a lot of VC, there is a lot of money on the market, and so it's I mean, we have competition as a VC. We have competition to find the best startup, and so we decided, as we already done with all our strategy in NoShack, to create an ecosystem to attract startup VCs, corporate partner, and to create the best ecosystem on music here in Belgium, because we see that there is a lot of different events all around Europe. But here in Belgium, we were the first one to do this. And so I think we begin with a really small event, and now on our 9th edition, we attract 10 startup during the acceleration program. So there is 2 days of acceleration program after we have 2 days of event, and the purpose of this event is one, to receive startup and to have a better deal flow of startup. So we try to, and after each edition we invest maybe in one or two startup. It depends of the quality for sure, but and all the startup that in which we don't invest, we still we continue to discuss with them, we continue to help them, so it will be part of the ecosystem of Wallifornia. And during 2 days of event, we discuss with all the industry of the music all around the world here in Belgium. So it's a way to create an ecosystem and to create a move in the music tech to better understand this market, this particular market of music, and also to attract startup from all around the world and to create synergy from here. Yeah.
Mm. Well, it makes sense. I'm looking very much forward to coming there, and I'll be a part of some of the things happening there as well. Um, but the reason why you've created Wallifornia, obviously, if you want to break it down really basic, is to have good ways to find startups and invest in them. But the ecosystem around them is key in order to not only find them, but also sustain them over time. And that's one of the things that I see in Europe happening a lot is these ecosystems coming up and running. What was the ecosystem like 9 years ago? Like, was there a supportive ecosystem for music technology
In years or all around the world?
all around the world?
Oh, it was. I mean, all around the world. When you see, there is a lot of different event or initiative in the world. So you have South by Southwest. You have, and also but you have a lot of different also event. South by Southwest is a really big event, and maybe too big. You have also a lot of different initiative in Europe. Slush. There was the Midem in France. But there were nothing in here in Belgium. So there was there was an ecosystem of music at that time, really, but we were really novice on it. I mean, it was the first time that we touched it, and so we decided to have a better connection with all this ecosystem, because you have the ecosystem in Europe, you have the ecosystem in USA, you have the ecosystem in the north of Europe, and so we tried. That's why we also created Music Tech Europe. So it's a connection between all the initiative all around Europe. So you have Wallifornia, but you have Music France, you have Music Estonia, etc. So we
Right.
try to connect all the initiative all around Europe, because there is what we see. It's quite fragmented,
Uh,
and so we try to create just one initiative by this Music Europe. So there was an ecosystem. There was fragmented. There was no ecosystem here in Belgium, and as an Belgian investor, we decided to create something from Belgium, but
well,
open to all the other ecosystem, and that's why
yeah.
we discuss with all the people all around the world. That's why during the Wallifornia we have more than 300 people during the event, and we still continue to create partnership. We still continue to discuss with them to be sure that we can exchange information, exchange startup, exchange, or just discuss about different topics.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely had FOMO last year. I was really trying to come and I couldn't. And I saw after on LinkedIn, like, oh, wow, there's a lot of great people there. Um, Sabia, before we go into sort of music tech investment quite deeply and your thoughts and experiences on it, You have a background that you said you're a musician, but as far as I understand, you also come from banking. But could you just tell us a bit about your journey into investing in music technology?
So I moved from banking to the investment side, not for music in the beginning, yeah, okay, because I moved in Neuschak 11 years ago with the creation of LeanSquare, and so LeanSquare was not active on the music, and I was, I mean, more general investor for Neuschak, but at that time there was a turning point when I realized that the banking sector, it's really stable structure, but not really focused on innovation and creation. So a company who need money, you go to it's the same thing that when you want to buy a house. So you want to buy a house, you go to your bank, you ask for the money, you sign a document, you receive your money, and you do what you want to do in your house, and that's good for the company. And for my point of view, I wanted to go um, more further on the relationship with the company, and not only be an investor, but I wanted to be a partner. And so the a position on an investment fund for me was the right thing to do to be focused on the innovation and the creation. Because on InSquare, for example, we are not only an investor, but we are, as I already mentioned, we are a partner, and we take a seat on the board of director for the company. So it means that we take the decision with the company. It means that we take the responsibility with the founder. We help the founder to grow. We help the company to grow in the good of the company, in the good of the shareholder, because we are a shareholder. And so we wanted to we have an exit strategy. We want to make money for sure. Um, is not the subsidiaries, but we are there to help the company to grow. And so for the innovation and the creation as an investment, and that's what I found in Noshak. For sure, there is a lot of different VC, a lot of different type of investor. I mean, uh, um, some investor create in ecosystem, some investor don't create ecosystem. For sure, it's a real particularity of Noshak and LeanSquare to create all this partnership and all this ecosystem. And so I found a way to do it. And so the this innovation, where I found the innovation. First of all, is because I take seat on my on the company in my portfolio. So everybody or in the team takes seat in the company. So it means that we have a lot of work. So we prepare the investment, we finalize the investment, but also after we follow the investment, we are part of the company. And after we put innovation and thanks to our ecosystem, or thanks to our events, or thanks to our acceleration program. The Wallifornia is clearly an innovation program. So it's not just an event when you come, you discuss, you drink a beer, you go to a concert, to a live concert. It's really there is a panel, etc. Like all the event, but as a fund, as the main. I mean, we create Lean Square created California 9 years ago. So we wanted to put some innovation on the market, to put some innovation on the startup. And that's why with our size, we try to put all the people together, to be connected, and to try to make partnership, to try to make business together, and to put some innovation on the market.
Yeah.
So that's the two ways I was really interested on it. And after I mean, the banking, it's an old industries. And so when we are on a VC, when we are on a startup investment fund, I mean, you look at new technologies, innovation, etc. So new business models. So that's really, I mean, it's funny. And the focus on music. I mean, we are all musicians. That's so if we try to find some smart and some funnies in our job. I mean, the music. I mean, it's great to invest on music. It's
Mm.
for me, it's better to invest on music than to invest on IT, for example.
Yep. That makes sense. But obviously also Lean Square has been investing in, the industries the
Yeah.
last 9 years, and now you guys are going into focusing more exclusively entertainment. But in entertainment, there's more than music. Um, we don't need to necessarily go very deep into that, but I know for a fact with speaking to a lot of my VC friends and connections that even with a focus on music, Oftentimes, like a clear music technology case doesn't happen that often as an investment because of many, many things. But what are the things that you see people do the most wrong, or like where are the misperceptions of potential for you as an investor in music technology? And the reason why I'm asking that question is you guys do a few bets. Like you've had like I think you said 49 over the last 9 years, and if you average that out, even though it's a big portfolio, it's not you don't invest every single week, and it's not every single of those investments that are music. So you must see a lot of things you don't believe in. But generally speaking, what are the things that you have a hard time investing in? And I hope that it's okay I asked that question.
I mean, what do you mean? I mean, the topics, special topics on the music, what we are looking for, or why, or our feeling about the investment and the number, the size of the market for the investment. I mean, what do you mean by your question?
Okay,
It's
maybe let's
both
like
of.
I'm sorry if I made it overcomplicated. What do you invest in music? What do you look for in music? And
Okay.
then we can try to talk about the things you don't do afterwards and the reasoning behind that.
Okay, so what we are looking for in the music, so in terms, so there is two things. There is the market and the need of the market, and our investment criteria. So the first thing, what we are looking for on our investment criteria is the team. First of all, is the team. If we have to look on clearly, I mean investment criteria. The first thing is the team. We prefer to invest on a good team with a big a small project than in a big project for the market with the wrong team. So really it's our first criteria. Why? Because as I mentioned, we are an investor but a partner, and so we take a seat on the board, and we want to be sure that the relationship with the founder is really good. And after, we have a lot of different criteria: the business model, the traction, the revenues, the market, the size of the market, the growth, the exit strategy, etc. For the if we look deeply on or maybe more especially on the market, what we are looking for, it's and that's why also why we have created Wallifornia. It's to understand the market. As an investor, you can choose to invest on every area you want. I mean, I have money on my phone. I could invest on, I don't know. I mean, on real estate, for example. But I don't have any connection with the real estate. I don't know the market of the real estate. And so when we decided to go to the music tech, we had all these investment criteria. We know our job. We knew our job. We knew how to make an investment. We knew how to make a due diligence, to put governance on the company, because a music tech company or a real estate company or a food tech company has the same need in terms of investment, in terms of business, in terms of governance, etc. So we knew our job. But the Wallifornia also is really helpful for us to understand the need of the market. And so when we receive a startup, and when we receive, I mean, we receive a lot of pitch of startup, um, what we have seen in the past is that there is a disconnection between the pitch and what the startup wanted to do and the need of the market. There is a real lack of, and there is, I mean, because of this connection, the startup will didn't discuss with the corporate or with the market, and inversely, and they didn't understand the market, and so it was also always the same proposition, always the same business model, always the same product, because and they didn't answer the need of the market. So the Wallifornia is also for us, as you mentioned, a way to attract some new startup, but for sure to understand really the need of the market at that time. So here in July, we will discuss. I mean, discuss with the market all the year, but we will discuss with the market, and it's a way during 2 or 3 or 4 days for the startup to discuss with the corporate and to see if their proposition, if the product, if the technology fit with their need. That's why it's an acceleration program. That's why it's an innovation program. And so we have some focus for if we have to go on the focus, we have some focus on the music, which is quite connected with the sports tech, because so we discuss music here because it's Wallifornia, but LeanSquare is an entertainment tech fund, so we invest on music tech, sports tech, esport, and gaming. And what we see when we decided to go to the music, after we opened the way for the sports tech, because there was a lot of connection between the two market, music tech and sports tech, in terms of technology, in terms of need. And so we look at a startup who answers some question about the rights, about the health performance, about the fan engagement, the smart venues, the management, the production, creative studio, etc. So that's the area that we're looking for: the music tech, sports tech, esport, and gaming.
Mm. And do you prefer, or is it a positive if a company touches multiple of those verticals, or like they're, music in esports kind of company? Is that a positive?
It depends. A solution that for example, a ticketing solution could fit with the music and could fit with the sport, with the
Mm,
sport tech.
mm,
So, but for sure, in the beginning, um, so we are our investment thesis. To be clear, we invest on late seed, pre-series A. Means that, so in terms of investment, you have the pre-seed, you don't have any product, you have a first seed, second seed, you try to have your product market fit. But we invest on late seed, pre-series A. It means that we have already a product on the market, we have revenues, we have customer, etc. And so what we are looking for is startup who have already a first connection with the market. So you cannot fill all the industries. So you have to choose a first step, a second step, a third step. And so if the first step is the music, it's okay. But what we are looking for also when we are doing our due diligence, it's the way to grow the company, it's the way to grow the market, and what is all the connection that we can find to increase and to increase the potential of the market. So if we have a solution of ticketing in music tech, we will try to see if there is possible to open other market, like the sports tech, for example.
No, it makes a whole lot of sense. Um, so basically, the reason why I want to cover what you don't invest in is also to sort of like understand the reasoning behind that's not part of the criteria, and I hope that we can expand that just a tiny bit. So when you say a good team, what is not a good team in your opinion? If you can try to generalize that as much as possible, like what competency do they not have?
That's a tough question, because it's no, but it's really tough question, because it's an individual relation. Sometimes it fits, sometimes it doesn't fit. And so I mean, with the experience, we know what kind of relationship we will have with the company after the investment. We know that. We know really well the organization of the board. We know really well all the difficulties we can find on the market when we try to develop your product, and when and the decision sometimes to pivot. And so when we discuss with the founder, we see if the founder can listen, can learn, they are open to advice, and if they have the capacity to pivot or to take the hard decision if they have to do it. After, it's an experience, so sometimes we do well, sometimes we do mistakes. But with the experience, we know if there will be a fit between LeanSquare and the mentality of LeanSquare, and our thesis, and our politics of investment, and the company.
Mm,
It doesn't mean that if we don't invest on a company because of the team, because we don't believe in the team, it's quite rare. It's quite rare, but if it doesn't mean, if we don't invest, it doesn't mean that the company will not find investment in other VC. Okay, it's like a wedding. It doesn't mean, it's a relationship. You try to find someone else. So. Um, and we always try to give advice to the company. So if we decided to stop a due diligence, or to not to begin a due diligence for all the reason we can find, we always try to connect to good to put an advice, to give an advice to the company, to give the right reason why we will not invest on the company, but
Yeah.
also to stay connected with them, because it doesn't mean that if we don't invest on a A time, that we will not invest on the B time. And we try to connect them with other investor who maybe the relationship will be better, or maybe if I don't know, I will take an example. If they are not on our timing of investment, so late seed, pre-series A, but they were still on seed, we will say, okay, it's not the timing for us. We connect you with a seed investor, but we will still have a connection with you, because when you will be on the late seed, on pre-series A stage, maybe you will be interested for us. But it's a tough question. I mean, a good team is a team with experience, where who can listen, who can learn. I mean, it's quite hard to define what is a good team.
Hmm.
It's a question of relationship.
I think what was interesting in your answer is the first thing you brought up was mentality. Uh, and that's also sort of what we find when we as Amplitude are working with founders, which we do a lot, is uh, the mentality is also what we've started to look for the most. And especially if we work with a lot of like very early stuff. And for us, like mentality almost comes before team, because the way that we work is that the team can be formed in the process, but if that lone founder maybe has the right mentality, so many things can be unlocked because of it. And on the flip side, if the mentality is difficult, most positive movements can be just really, really difficult.
Yeah,
Um, because being the founder is not only a lifestyle, it's also like um, a sickness. No, it is so difficult to be a founder that there's
yeah.
just some personality traits that just needs to be there.
It's 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 not a value judgment, like we say in French. I mean, we will never do that, because maybe being founder, and we see a lot of young founder. I mean, the most part of what we see on the market, on what we see on our pitch, it's young founder. And so I was always impressed by they're willing to create
Mhm.
enterprise, to create startup, to create value, etc. I mean, as an investor, we invest money on a company to exit after 7 years with revenues for us, for sure. But our role in LeanSquare, really well. We are an investor. We create ecosystem, but also we want to create companies. We want to be part of this creation of companies.
Mm.
We want to help our territory to have a better economy. That's why we invest on company. And so
Mm.
I really I'm always impressed to see. I mean, 20 years old founders to go to the market, but for sure, as a late seed or pre-series A investor, we see so many companies that we have to be focused on the best one. I mean, what we think to be the best one for us. But I mean, yeah, it's unbelievable and it's not a value judgment to see. Okay, you are not able to be a founders. For sure, you are able to be a founders, but at that time now for us, it would not be possible. But it's not a value judgment. I mean, we try to create a relationship, and sometimes it fits, sometimes it doesn't fit.
Mm. How many decks do you receive versus how much do you invest in?
Ah, um, maybe 300 deck per year.
You
Two
receive.
between two I mean, in average, maybe 250 per years. And we try to spend, so we create, also to help the company, to help the founders. We have created what we call the 1 hour challenge. So we have a guy in our team, which is called Ben Pika. We will be on Wallifornia Music Tech. Um, and we offer 1 hour of our time to the companies. If we think that they fit with the investment, I mean, if they are really pre-seed, we will not spend maybe 1 hour with them, but sometimes we do it because we want we want to open our door for everybody. That's our role too for the ecosystem, for our
Mm.
position, and for the economy from there. So we open the door for everybody. So we give 1 hour of our time to each company. They pitch, and it's a way also to increase our deal flow for sure, huh? And to have a first inside of the company after 1 hour of meeting. Sorry. And after this 1 hour, we discuss during the team meeting if we want to go deep on the due diligence or not. And if it's not, they receive a positive feedback. You are not ready for us. And um, we advise you to connect with some investor, to connect with some partner, to connect with some corporate. We accept all this startup in our ecosystem, and we help them to grow, but not with an investment.
Mm.
Because maybe one time they will be ready for us to be invested by LeanSquare. That's a way to organize our ecosystem too. So we
Mm.
create the 1 hour churn. So it's on average 250, 300 per year.
Mm.
And we are doing, so we are an evergreen fund. So we are doing 5, 6, between 5 and 10 per year. We
Yeah.
try.
Amazing. Really interesting, and it really showcases also how difficult it is to get investments for VCs. And I think, I hope that people get more and more educated what it means to get investors nowadays. But again, music technology and music tech financing has been definitely a underexposed environment, and I think there's many fallacies in music tech that people don't know of. And as you would know as an investor, traditionally speaking, it can also be more difficult to raise large amounts of sums for music technology, just because there's maybe generally speaking less of faith in music technology or due diligence or market size. There's many related to it. So you guys also need to be very sensible with your investments. Out of those 5 to 10 investments, how often do you see like a direct music tech investment?
In this
Yeah.
numbers, it depends the year, but maybe. I mean, we have a strong activities on gaming for. I mean, no, and again, no. Music, sport, and gaming. So are quite huge for us. So maybe it's quite. I mean, it's quite stable. I mean, maybe a third in music,
Uh,
2 or 3 per years.
yeah.
Um, 2 or 3 in gaming, 1 or 2 in sports tech. But it depends of the year, huh? But it's an average. It's an average. But the problem of the music tech, you mentioned the difficulty to raise fund in the music tech area. It's because it's an unknown market, huh? It's a quite close market of music tech. I mean, it's better and what we see on the market also, there is not so much specialized VC on music tech. Um, if they invest on music tech, it's because of an opportunity.
Mm.
Uh, but I mean, I know some investor on creative and cultural industries in US, or I know one in US in music tech plus 8 equity, but there is not so few investment on music tech. It's a closed market. It's a hard market to understand all the connection, all the between the corporate, the artist, etc. It's a tough market. That's why also Wallifornia help us, huh? As I
Mm.
mentioned to you, it's a way also for us to better understand the market and to better understand the need of the market, the need of the artist, the need of the corporate, the need of the industries, and to connect all the technology available on the market to see if they can work together to answer all the need. But it's a tough market. After there is a lot of, there is a lot of good project on entertainment tech. There is a lot of exit potential in music tech,
Yeah.
and more globally on the cultural and creative industries, because entertainment is a part of this cultural and creative industries. And there is I mean, we never think about it, but in Belgium, I think it's the second market in terms of employment, huh?
Mm.
So that's big.
Yeah.
The cultural and creative industries is really
Oh,
big.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. How often do you see yourself as a validation capital towards like other investors?
Sorry?
How often do you see yourself as validation capital? You guys know music and you have a music focus. So when they want to raise, let's say, raise 5 million and you guys come in with, let's say, 1, how often do you position yourself as validation capital and help the other investors understand what this case is?
As a lead investor, you mentioned?
Yeah, no, as a validation capital, so supplementing investor of a bigger round. Like, do you do that a lot where you sort of help other investors understand the potential of this startup you just committed to?
Uh, Again, as I mentioned, there is a lot of it depends of the potential of the company, but yes, sometimes it's a the round on so on music tech we are focused on Europe, and so we know the different investor, private, public investor, um, for sure, and what we see on Belgium, for example, but also for France, for sure. If LeanSquare is on the round, if LeanSquare has already validated the round, it's a key for the other investor to go on the round. It's your if it's your question. Why? Because and that's why we decided this year to be focused only on entertainment, because we are already seen on the market as an entertainment tech, as a music tech also fund. And so where we are on the round, it's easier for the other investor to validate the round.
Mhm.
As us, I mean, if I see on a market, or if I see on the startup, if I have a little bit doubt on the growth of the product or on the need of the market for this technology, but if I see a partner or a corporate or another investor investing in it, I can discuss with him. I can share my due diligence and to see, okay, there is a potential. It's easier to do a due diligence where you have already investor that you are knowing on the round.
Mm. And those investors who that you typically co-invest with, or like you see traditionally speak co-invest in music tech, do they also know music, or do they usually come from sort of other
No,
industries?
they know music, huh? They know music. They are not specialized only on music, but they know music by opportunity in the past. So for sure they know music. And if they are not, if they don't know the music, they know the technology that the company using. And so it's an application of the technology on the market. And so if they have a doubt on the market, the role of LeanSquare is to explain and to share the due diligence to see, okay, this particular technology that you are knowing is really good for the need of the market in the music tech. And so we share the due diligence and we go and we are doing the deal together.
Hmm. How often do you see VCs that invest in something that they don't know too much about, but still within their investment scope? For example, if an investor, didn't deeply understand the technology or didn't deeply understand music, but still is willing to go on the team and the revenue and traction, does that happen?
Yeah, but not on late seed and pre-series A. I mean, it's quite rare. If it's has to happen, it's maybe on pre-seed and first seed. I mean,
Okay.
it's sometimes that's why it's really important for the startup to discuss with the investor. I mean, we are searching for the good founder, but the founder has to search the good investor. I mean, it's the same relationship. We try to find the best team to conduct the company, but the founder has to find the best VC to understand what they are doing and to be sure that they are ready to put more money on the company to continue to help and to have the growth of the company. So, for example, a pre-seed company, sorry, has to find a pre-seed investor who know and who understand what they are doing.
Hmm.
What we see sometimes with the pre-seed and the seed is that we have a lot of business angel who I mean, who have money and who want to put money on the company. That's really good for the company and really good for the business angel. That's why the business angel ecosystem is really good. But for the music market, it's quite hard to find a business angel specialized in music. And so you receive money, it helps you to continue to develop or to put the product on the market, but it doesn't maybe helps you or the founder to find the right partner, to find the right key to the market, etc. That's why it's really important to find at the time. It's really important to find a VC, not not only specialized in music, but who understand the technology, who understand all the way, all the stage for a startup. I mean, working on a company or investing on a startup is two different jobs. And so that's why it's really important to discuss with all an investor before signing any document or any shareholder agreement, because it's a relationship. Yeah.
Mhm. Makes a whole lot of sense, and I think one of the things that I hope over the next few years is that I'm trying to contribute to myself. Like a lot of these things that you say, this wisdom combined with a lot of other things that gets written down, it gets public, and because there's so much lack of clarity on like how to go about these things. And I learn new things about investment every single day, especially music technology. And I've spent, 2 years really trying to understand it. And most founders don't have the luxury of doing that. Like they need to be able to get high level of understanding of how does music technology financing work. And it's great that you guys are participating in sharing that knowledge as well.
Thank you.
Yep. So, Xavier, I'm looking really much forward to meeting you at Wallifornia. I've been following LeanSquare for a couple of years, and now a lot of my colleagues and friends have partnered with you in investments, and it's really amazing to see the contribution to the industry. I personally believe there's a heck of a lot of potential in music tech, but you need to be very intentional about how you invest, where you spend your time, what kind of companies have potential. Um, and companies like yourself are bringing forth that knowledge, and I hopefully that can also have ripple effects to other investors, so they slowly get experience with music and can partake in both early rounds, but also later rounds. And that's sort of what I'm hoping is going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years.
I hope so. For sure. I mean, there is more VC or in our stage of development and late seed and Series A, there is more VC on IT or health tech or med tech than in music tech. And I also I fix music tech, but there is sports tech, there is gaming too. There is, for example, there is more investor on gaming than on music tech. Gaming is I mean is it's a better open market than the music, because it's I mean, there is a lot of investor on the market of gaming. So we don't have any difficulties to find other investor on the round for the gaming. It's
Mm.
sometimes more difficult on the music. But it doesn't mean that you are not able to find the right investor at the right time. So but for sure, the Wallifornia, the purpose of the Wallifornia is also to educate also the investor in this music market. I mean, we invite a lot of different investors from the music market, but also from the industrial, the cultural and creative industry globally, to present the potential of the music. Because if we are more if there is a lot more investor on the market, and if we know them, we will be able to do better round for the company, bigger round for the company, and continue to help the company to grow. Because I'm strongly believe, as you mentioned right just now, that there is a lot of potential of exit in this market, because it's an old market, and there is a lot of need in terms of technology, in terms of innovation in this market. So there is a huge potential for the music
Mm.
market.
Amazing. Xavier, thank you for sharing your knowledge and your experience. And people can catch you at Wallifornia.
Yeah, I will be there.
As I said, like last year, I had so much FOMO, and I never really get FOMO. But like the people that were posting about Wallifornia, the people that were like what they wrote about Wallifornia, like I should have been there. So guys, I will be there as well. And we'll have a few different episodes in partnership with Wallifornia leading up to it. So I hope to see you there. Step to be worth your money and time. And Sarah, we'll talk soon.
Yeah, talk soon. Thank you. Bye. Bye bye.